What's going on, guys? I just wanted to say thanks for clicking on the video first off and checking out this new Cedar motor from Furitek and this transmission. Overall, this thing performed amazing, and I like to just kind of throw up a quick line at the beginning here so you can see what the product I'm showing is capable of in the end. And overall, very pleased with how this thing's running now. I mean, it's unbelievable, the slow crawl and the control you get from this. So hopefully you'll stick around, check it all out, and I will put a timestamp up so you guys can skip to whatever part you want to watch. And I appreciate anybody sticking around, checking it all out. It means the world to me, and I hope you enjoy the video. What? This slow crawl is amazing. What's up, guys? Matt here, coming at you with some more Furitek greatness. Today we've got the Furitek Cedar going in the TRX4M. So this is mounted up to a TRX4M transmission from Furitek. This transmission has all metal gears. It does have bearings in there. I pulled it apart. It's greased, bearings, metal gears. These are the slow crawl gears. So we're going to be installing this in the TRX4M with the Python Pro. The Python Pro, waterproof, capable up to 4S. Maybe we'll see the first 4S TRX4M Bronco. I don't know. Has anybody did that? We'll do it shortly. But yeah, going with the Python Pro in here. Very excited to get this installed. You know, when I did my initial video on the Cedar for the FCX24, lots of people was asking, like, will it fit the 4M? Will it fit the FCX? Will it fit the AX? And really, Furitek is going to have mounts for all of these. This SCX system, with the mount that it comes with, this one is different, but it's the same, basically. It doesn't fit well in the AX. It hits the links, the chassis rails. It just don't fit well. But I'm sure they'll have a mount that centers that up better. I know they're working on the FCX setup. And here we have the TRX4M setup. So you'll see this thing, it's basically the exact same size and everything as the stock transmission. It's just an aluminum case with the metal gears already installed and the bearings in there. So that's going to be nice. This motor is a little bit smaller than a stock motor or this Injora motor that I'm running in here. This thing's been really smooth, but I'll be glad to get rid of the brush setup, mostly this ESC and transmitter. I hate the Traxxas transmitters. I'm going to get started on swapping this over, and we'll see how this thing runs. Like I said, I did open this up. It is greased and has the bearings. You can see a little bit of grease there where I had it apart. But yeah, I mean, if this thing runs like it does in the SCX, it's going to totally change this rig, and we're going to be completely waterproof with this setup. I can take this thing trailing and just bash through the creek. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's pouring rain out today. Maybe I'll just take it out in the rain or something. So I'm going to swap this over. Should be an easy swap out. I've already pulled these screws here. So you're going to take out those 2 screws in the battery tray, then you're going to have 4 in the transmission. Lift this entire thing out, and then switch our drive shafts over, drop it back in. Should be very simple. We'll get this thing installed, and then we'll get to some running. So you can see this drops straight in, just like putting a stock transmission in. This setup right here with the microstellar transmission, metal gears, bearings, all of that, and the motor is going to cost around 120 bucks. So it's pretty pricey, but now they do have the motor alone for like $50, and you could definitely just mount that motor up to a stock transmission if you have your metal gears in there already and their bearings and that sort of thing, and you just want to keep your stock setup. You can do that. You can see it just has this little adapter here that adapts it to the stock motor mount. So that's an option as well. Now, no matter what, if you're going from brushed to the brushless, you're going to need a new ESC, a brushless ESC. So something like this Python Pro, the Lizard Pro, the Ultimate, any of that will work fine with this. And then you will need a receiver of some sort with your transmitter. So, you know, if you're having to buy all this for the first time, this thing is really hard to beat for the price, 40, 50 bucks. Usually you get a receiver with it. They have micro receivers that are basically the same size as this. Only reason I'm not installing this in here is I'm out of receivers for it. I'm waiting on more to come in, but you will need something like that to install in here. You can't run the stock setup. You're just going to ditch this and your transmitter completely, which is a good thing. That Traxxas transmitter is terrible. So I'm going to go ahead and get this installed, and then we'll see how it runs. All right, got it all installed here, and you can see I went a little different route. I ended up going with a Noble receiver just because, for one, I plugged this in, had it working, and then smoke came out of it, and it would work for a second, then it wouldn't, then it would work, then it wouldn't. So don't know what's up with that. This was something I was going to sell because I have a lot of transmitters around, but I have like 25 receivers probably around here for this thing. So I figured I'm not going to get anything for that. Might as well just use it. So slapped it in here. I did away with the stock battery strap. I mean, we could still use that if I wanted to hold that stuff down, and that's something I may do, but I just double-sided the Python Pro in, Velcro for the battery. Also put some Velcro up here if I know I'm going to be running in the creek, getting in some deeper water. That's just getting it up a little higher. And overall, I'm pretty happy with how it all went in there. And this thing is insanely smooth. So I'm going to fire it up and let you see it run. So the way I've got this in here, my power switch is here. I rarely ever even use my power switch. I just disconnect the battery. So I'll just leave that on now. Watch this thing crawl. That's insane. This is a 3S battery. That transition is nuts, guys. I'm telling you, this thing is unbelievable. I love this motor. All right, I'm just going to turn the trim up a little bit. Let this thing kind of crawl on its own, just so you can see how smooth it is. It's so slow we may have to fast forward the video. The thing you'll notice with this is just when it gets to this point, like most motors and stuff, it doesn't struggle and you have to give it more throttle to continue. You can see how smooth that just continues to pull. You don't have to give it more throttle and it wind up and then leap over stuff. Look at that. So crazy smooth. And you can do that at any speed, really. I mean, if we hit it just a little bit faster, of course my bumper's gonna hit. See, you're able to keep that nice, smooth flow. You're not having to hit this at this speed and then give it more throttle and ramp it up and give it more and more and more. And then once you get to this peak, you're giving it so much that you're launching over it. That's not, I mean, look at that. Unbelievable how smooth this thing is. I absolutely love it. So this is on 3S. We're going to slap 4S in here. That's part of the reason why I thought this system would work. I can run 2 batteries. So let's hook this up, check it out on 4S. All right, I got both batteries installed. And if you're gonna do this, you wanna make sure you're running 2 of the same packs basically. Still the same awesome slow crawl, look at that. But quite a bit of wheel speed. All right, let's go run this thing some so we can check out some 4S on the TRX4M, because I haven't really seen anybody run their 4M on 4S, so pretty excited to check this out. So after just messing around on 4S in the garage floor here for a little bit, I mean 5 minutes, the motor got up into the 90s. It's cooling a little now, you can see, but probably not something you're gonna wanna do a lot. Honestly, the 4S didn't seem much different than 3S on this setup. So, you know, I think we could go with some higher speed gears in this transmission to get a lot more wheel speed if that's what you're looking for, and still have the really good slow crawl, because this system crawls so well that we could bump these gears back up to stock or the high speed gears possibly even, and keep a pretty good slow crawl. But I think for most crawling we're gonna do, it's gonna have plenty wheel speed on the 3S. So I'm gonna toss the 3S back in here and take it out and run it, and we'll see how it does. So this is the same 3450 kV 12-pole motor that I showed in the FCX24 video, just adapted to fit the TRX4M. It comes with an 11-tooth steel pinion already mounted on the motor. If you get the combo like I have here with the aluminum transmission case, you get that, the metal gears, and the bearings installed already ready to go. You know, I think the price is a little steep on the transmission, but it did help dissipate some of the heat. You'll see it a little later. I didn't have any problems with the motor getting hot, but the transmission case itself was actually warmer than the motor, so it was taking some of that heat away. So it did help in that regard. So you can see the cats in the background. And just so you can know what I'm going through, a lot of times when I'm shooting these videos, I'm usually driving one-handed, filming, and got fluffers at my feet here. Now don't laugh at my Crocs and socks. Hey, I am a dad. But no, I come straight in from work, kick the boots off, throw the Crocs on, and go to work for you guys. So you can laugh at them. It doesn't matter. I'm used to it. I'm corny, cheesy, all those dad things. Liam tells me all the time. I'm used to it. So, but I just thought it was funny how the cats just love hanging around this crawling course. But overall, man, this thing, it's exactly what I expected. You know, people who watched the FCX24 video with me running the Cedar for the first time, they couldn't believe how excited I was. But I promise, like, when you get this thing in hand, you're going to feel the same way. It's just unbelievable. It's the best motor I've ran for the 24s and now the 18s, I guess you'd say. And some of the lines I pulled with this, just being able to get the super slow creep really paid off, you know. And people a lot of times will say, well, why do you need to go that slow? I don't need to do that. But it does help in some cases. I mean, right here even, this is pretty tricky line for this truck. And I was able to pull it off because I had complete control of the throttle. Anything I wanted to do with it, I could do it. And, you know, my driving's not always the best. Maybe sometimes that hurts, but a lot of times it does pay off. And here you'll see I nail this line and a few others that I was very impressed with. For me, the sweet spot with this is on 3S. 2S, I wanted just a little bit more wheel speed. Well, once I went to the 3S, it was just perfect. And, you know, that's pretty much what I run in all of my 24s anymore anyways. I have a lot of 3S packs around, so no issues with that. This is the best of the best. Like, I understand the price is a lot, and sometimes people are like, man, there's no way I'd spend that for this motor or this ESC. But I'm like, you know, you'll go eat a $150 meal and not think anything about it. My dad and I always joke, like, anything will make a turd, right? So why go spend $100 on a meal and then complain about $100 on a brushless system or whatever, you know? So you got to pay to play. And maybe you're not going to put this in every rig. I like having budget rigs, and I like having some that are a little more decked out. But I promise you should have this in at least one, because it really is the best of the best. And that's really all I can say about it. Like, it doesn't get much better than this. And, you know, I don't know until maybe we get an all-in-one for these. Hint. Something like the Fusion with the ESC built into the motor, like, it's not going to get any better than this. So just absolutely loving this motor. You can see here I went out to the creek, was going to try to get some outdoor running and take this thing through some good water, and the creek was pretty well flooded. I was braving the rain, going to just go for it for you guys, but it was just flooded. Really couldn't hit any good lines. So I did find some puddles out here by the house and just kind of ran this through what I had. It's not really even deep enough to cover the truck, but it was getting pretty deep. So no issues running in the water. Had a little fun until I lost a nut off the shock, lost a nut off the wheel, ran it till the wheels fall off again. So you guys know how it goes. I'm pretty hard on stuff. Usually something's going to break. But let me know what you think about this thing. This is an awesome setup for the TRX4M for sure. And I look forward to running this a lot more. I appreciate everybody watching. I'll link everything in the description. Peace.